Welcome back to my channel. This video you can see I've done a pencil outline of the scene that I'm going to be painting, and I'll pop up the reference photo which I took on the left hand side, sorry. So this is the scene that I'm going to be painting, and it's a lovely scene on the way to work. There's a place called Mossley, so I took this picture just as I was going to work. Just stopped off and took this picture, and it was just before the rain came down, so I did actually get quite wet. And I think I spoke about this in another video just a couple of videos back. It was from the same sort of place, just 200-300 yards down the road. I did a painting of the scene from around the bend down the hill, and so this is from the same day when I got nearly drenched and I was just wearing a t-shirt. So that aside, this is quite a nice scene. I do like the look of the cottage, a couple of buildings attached to it, and it's quite a cloudy day, so I'm adding a mix of cerulean blue, a bit of Payne's grey, and then I added a little bit of a touch of almost red to the clouds, give it a little purple cast, and then I'm just going in, running a little bit of clean water into the clouds just to blend them out and not have them too sharp looking, almost like cut out or anything like that. I wanted them to blend in. So now I'm just adding, this is a mix of yellow ochre, and then I added some sap green, and I wanted to change the colours. You can see what I like to do with trees, and even I like to do with roofs, which you'll see me do shortly later on in the painting. I like to add one colour down and then just drop a few bits of different colours into that colour. And I just think it makes a nicer, more interesting look. Like you can see here, I'm just dropping in bits of sap green into the yellow ochre, and now I want to go a little bit of blue for the darker sort of shadow parts of the foliage, and I want to just get that on the same side just to balance things out. I'm doing that on the left hand side, the sort of foliage on that side as well. So yeah, just a French ultramarine. It really does look nice with green, and that's what I tend to do. I use sap green, and then I add either French ultramarine or yellow ochre just to sort of change the tone and the temperature of the colour, and it just gives that more interesting look as well. You never have a flat green in nature. You can always, if you notice next time you're out, you look at trees, there's all sorts of different colours you'll be able to see, and so that's all I'm doing, replicating that in this painting as well. So there's a nice bit of distant land not in the middle, but in the middle of the left and the right hand side, just going across. You can see just a bit of the distant bit of landscape sort of popping through. So that's quite nice. When I do that, I want to do it quite faded, quite a lot of blues in the green, have it really sort of light, so it does contrast and it does end up in the background. So that'll be quite nice to do. And there's a nice fence on the reference, which, that's a bit too much yellow ochre. I'm going to try and match the colour to the shrubbery and the greenery above. So what I'm doing here, I'm painting negative painting, so I'm just painting around the fence rather than painting the fence itself. I just thought that would be the easiest way to go. So I'm just popping in the greens and leaving those crisscross sort of design for the fence. And I think maybe I could have gone with an opaque paint, maybe just to get a bit of a sharper lines, but I'm not too fussed. So here I'm using my green, just diluted it quite a bit, added more water to it and a tiny bit more blue. And as I come down the paper, I will start adding a bit more green, a bit more yellow ochre, just to give that bit more colour variation and bring it forward slightly, because that's what happens with these sort of scenes. You got the horizon line, which is the furthest away, and then as you come down it's sort of coming closer. There's a few buildings, a few houses and rooftops you can see popping through the greenery, which I've not painted. I've left the shapes there, which will be a light grey. It's got all these nice trees, little just brush marks really. So I don't want too much detail because obviously it is quite a distance away. So just being loose with the brush, just dabbing here and there, and even leaving bits of white, that does help to give a little bit of interest, and it could be reflected light, windows, things like that. And now just adding the wall which runs down alongside the roadside, and that's mostly the yellow ochre, burnt umber, and then I did pop a little bit of red, and I'm using the same colour as well for the gable end of this building, and there is some nice bits of texture, and you'll see me popping in bits of colour as well. I'm going to add some sort of warm colours on top, and then as I come down add some blue so it'll cool it down. Maybe I should have done it the other way around, I'm not sure, but just adding touches of raw sienna, bits of a reddy brown colour in there, and then at the bottom I'll add in some of the French ultramarine. So they're the colours that I like to use to change temperature of a painting. So you got the blues which cool things down, and then a red to sort of give the warmer tones. And I'm just using the same colour on this wall, although this bit is just a bit darker. I will add some more darks to that. I've actually just started an oil painting as well, which I will post that video online once I get obviously done with that. So that's something it's an ongoing thing. I've literally just coated the canvas itself just in a mid-tone, so I'm just waiting for that to dry. I've got lots of little flies just stuck to it. It's like a big giant bug trap, but I'll be sharing that with you as soon as that's ready, which I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's of the same sort of scene, just around the corner from this road and down the hill a little bit. So I'm quite looking forward to get that one done, and I'm gonna have that in a gallery which is open for the public that can take down work and sort of sell from the gallery, so my fingers are crossed for that. So I'm gonna post a video of that once it's done, so that's something to look forward to if you want to see me do an oil painting. It's been a little while, so there's a lot of things, I'll be a little bit rusty, but I'm just going to go for a nice sort of urban scene. There's rooftops and there's a church, and the background that you can see in this painting is the same sort of distant sort of hill, horizon line sort of thing. So it's just around the corner from this scene, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turns out. My fingers are crossed. I really do hope I get that done. So yeah, things are and I actually dropped my sans soda, which is all I've got left, and that went on the floor. Bit of a nightmare really. I just forgot how messy oil painting was. It can get a little bit messy. I think mostly at the beginning when you're covering the canvas and things like that, getting things planned out, it can be a little bit messy, but then as you progress and as the painting comes along, I guess you know which paint, which colours you're using, and there's more precise work, I guess. So it just becomes a little bit easier. So anyway, that's enough of that. So this painting, there's not really much left, just a few darker tones to do. Nice almost dividing fence that goes along, which I'm painting in there. So just adding that in, and then obviously cutting around the fence again. And I think I probably could have done a better job with the fence, I'm not sure. Let me know what you think in the comment section. How would you improve doing this fence? I think maybe, masking fluid's an option, but I cannot open my masking fluid. I've got 2 or 3 bottles and they've all seemed to seal themselves shut. The masking fluid's got on the lid on the inside, and it's just impossible to open. So that's something that you can take note of if you're using any sort of medium, or it's even happened with some of my ink bottles, or an ink bottle that I've been using. Not used it for a few years and then tried to use it again, and it just seemed to have sealed itself shut. So this is something to keep an eye on if you've got inks or anything like that, or masking fluid. Just open it every now and then, maybe a few months. It won't harm to keep opening them every now and then, and maybe keep them upright as well, which may help. So you can see with this painting I'm using my ink pens now, just to get some line details, some texture on the walls, and just tightening up and tidying up here and there. The windows I did with ink pens as well, just to get that nice cleaner, straighter edge. Although it's quite difficult, this paper that I'm using is Buckingford Rough, so it's a little bit harder to sort of draw with pen on, because you've got a little bit more texture, and it's probably not good for the pens either, the nibs on the pens. But I went ahead and did that just to give me more of a straighter line, which I do find difficult with a paintbrush. And then obviously the roofs, the tiles, things like that, that's what I'm using with the pen as well, just to bring them out. And I like the way the roofs are almost like sky. They sort of disappear into the sky, and the only way you can see the roof is by the tiles themselves. It's the same sort of colour. So you got a lot of light reflecting from the roofs. Maybe it's been raining. Yeah, I think it had been raining previously. So you got all this light reflecting off the roofs themselves, and then just lines for the tiles. So just wanted to darken up this wall. I feel it needed a bit more darker colour. So that's what I'm doing here, just to darken that a little bit, and it will help the cottage sort of stand out a little bit more as well, giving that nice contrast. As you can see for the road, I've left there's a sort of half dry, half wet. On one side it's quite wet, so you got a lot of light reflecting and it's a lighter colour, and then on the left hand side it's a bit darker, so that's where the light's not hitting it, so to speak. So I think maybe the light's coming from the left hand side, so you got the sort of shadows on the left as well. So I'm just popping my signature in this right hand corner, and again I just find it easier to use a pen when signing or writing anything on watercolour paper. And now it's just time to remove the tape, and you can see here I nearly ripped the paper. I think if you pull it diagonally as well, that does help away from the paper if you pull the tape off diagonally. And there we go. There's the finished painting. Hope you like that. If you do like, please give us a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my channel to see more. And that's it. Thanks for watching.